Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you. We are very happy to be invited by the LUCfest for the festival in Taiwan. I am Caroline Champarnaud. I'm head of international department at SACEM, the French collective management organization. And together with Philippe, we're going to present you a presentation on authors' rights and collective management of rights and the way it works in France in particular. Philippe?
Hi everyone, I'm Philippe Manivet. I'm founder and CEO of Musigamy, a French independent music publishing company. I'm a SACEM member, and I work on every domain of music publishing, including development of a new repertoire, but also sub-publishing for working with foreign friends like you can be. So really happy to be there and to meet people from the area.
And we have prepared a presentation for you. I'm going to share my screen now. There you go. So before presenting how SACEM works and how collective management works, we wanted to remind you what authors' rights mean, actually. When you're a creator or a music publisher, the author's rights is the only remuneration that you get for the exploitation of your works. And in order to have these rights protected, you may become a member of a collective management organization. So the collective management of rights is actually done by what we call CMO, collective management organizations then. And those CMOs, at least the way it works in France and in Europe at large, is a not-for-profit organization that is generally founded and administered by the members, who are the songwriters, composers, and music publishers. A CMO is in fact a cooperative where the resources of the creators and music publishers are gathered together in order to gain an economic and leverage power in the licensing of these rights towards music users, where resources are shared also in terms of licensing, legal, IT, etc. And it helps also being member of a network, whether on a national basis. SACEM, for example, has almost 70 offices throughout France to collect essentially background music, or on an international level, since as a CMO, we partner with our sister societies around the world, such as MUST in Taiwan. SACEM is the first CMO ever created in 1851, so a long time ago, and it's still the first CMO in the world in terms of collection. As you can see on that slide, on a yearly basis, SACEM collects 1.5 billion euros, more or less. The governance of a CMO is really very important. As I said before, a CMO is created by its members and is also administered by its members. So I've put on the slide SACEM's governance. As you can see, there is a General Assembly made of all SACEM members who elect the board of directors and a supervisory board. And the board of directors is in charge of appointing the CEO. Transparency and ethics are also two key values of a CMO. This is the reason why there are some control bodies, such as the supervisory board, in charge of making sure that all the activities of a CMO are properly operated.
We generally tell that SACEM is our home, and it's really the case because all the board members and all the committee are involved every day to improve all the process and all the way we have to think about the evolution of music and treatment of data. And it's a real teamwork, and it's great to have the supply of a SACEM team with a good performance of all the team and a big expertise.
Thank you, Philippe. Our key missions are, of course, to collect and distribute monies, collect monies from music users, and we'll come to that, and distribute monies in a fair and quick manner to our members and also to the members of our sister societies around the world. One of our essential missions is also to protect and defend authors' rights. Authors' rights may not be understood by institutions, for example, and it's our role to remind them that the laws that they are preparing are fair and accurate for our members. As a CMO, we also offer a wide range of services, and especially social protection and professional training. And we are committed to defend creation in France, of course, but also to help, and especially in Europe, at the European level, to make the European Commission, for example, to understand what creators are doing, how they are remunerated, so that they can prepare the appropriate laws. The specificities of SACEM is that we do not only represent music as such, we of course represent composers of music of all different types of genres, from electro to jazz music, from symphonic music to pop music. We also represent writers, directors for audiovisual content, and we do represent all sorts of writers, whether for lyrics or for comedian text, but also dubbing and subtitling. If we want to talk a little bit about figures, we have more than 500,000 clients in all different areas, from background music in shops to concerts, from TV channels to online platforms. And last year, we collected 1.5 billion euros. And I wanted to make a focus on online because online is one of the most important source of revenues for SACEM. And our collection grew last year by 30% compared to 2018. Sorry. One question that everyone is asking us is, where does the money go? So 85% of the monies collected by SACEM are distributed to the creators and music publishers. And that means that our commission fee is around 15% on a yearly basis. I also wanted to present you the international footprint of SACEM. Our members come from all over the world, whether from Europe, from Africa, Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and even North America. We represent, thanks to what we call reciprocal agreements with our sister societies around the world, we do represent the world repertoire in France. And as a reciprocity, our repertoire, so the songs of our members, are represented throughout the world. We also have local offices, either subsidiaries or affiliates of SACEM, in Europe, in Luxembourg, in the Middle East, in Lebanon, and in French Polynesia, in the Pacific Ocean. We also have one contact person in the US to take care of our North American members. Supporting our members is also a very important part of our activity. Last year, SACEM dedicated more than 30 million euros to cultural aid. And as you can see on the screen, this is to promote live performances, to help our members create and auto-produce their content, to train, to keep on improving their skills, and to also, a very important point, cultural and artistic education in schools. We have a dedicated program for publishers Maybe Philippe, if you want to say a word of it.
Yeah, I would say that it's really precious during this period of COVID, because SACEM give us more help. It's an help to invest on the development of songwriters, and yeah, thanks to that we can have real budget to spend to develop new songwriters and to renew the panorama of songwriters in France. There are also some helps for setting up writing camps abroad, and it's really good also to make connection with other people.
And especially for you today, we have made a focus on Asia. So to make sure that our repertoire is accurately represented in Asia, we have secured reciprocal agreements with the local societies, such as MUST, for example, in Taiwan. It helps facilitate the circulation of works, of course. And as Philippe has just mentioned, we have participated last summer in MUST recent workshop online, and we'll get to that at the end of our presentation. As I said before, online is really key in our today's world, and especially in times of pandemic. Online usages have increased dramatically. I wanted to share with you the way that online licenses are administered in Europe. I'll go very quickly on the next slide just to tell you that the world is really fragmented. And we do not represent the world repertoire in France, but we do represent our repertoire on a pan-European and sometimes multi-territorial international basis. SACEM has a long history in digital. We licensed the very first French download service in 1999. And since then, we've been aggregating repertoire from publishers, from Anglo-American publishers mainly, and we have secured major deals with multi-territorial platforms such as Apple, Spotify, Netflix, SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch recently. So we are very proud of the journey so far and are doing our best to keep on improving our services. We are a service-oriented CMO. As far as digital is concerned, we provide two types of services for our members and our publisher partners. Front office activities that have to be in charge of negotiating licenses with digital music users, and back office activities that have to do with processing the amount of data that we get from different sources. On that scheme here, we've tried to summarize in 8 steps the life of a work when it's used on the digital platform. When a band creates a work, it registers that work in our database. So we receive the work information. And in parallel, the band may record the song and make it available via a label or a digital distributor. Then it's used on the platforms. I've given a few examples here. The user can listen to the music, of course, and in the back end, Spotify, for example, or the digital platform, they provide us with reports that we ingest in our system. Our main system is called EURight, and we will match the data that has been sent by Spotify with the data that we have in our work information, copyright information database. And then we need to identify the work to be able to raise an invoice Spotify, and when we get paid, we can distribute the monies back to the band.
Yeah, just to say the registration is really a key word, because it's not so easy to have all the signing of all the writers and all the information. And the SACEM is working more and more to propose to us a new way to register the songs. For example, we have now for the publisher who have big volume of registration to send the file by SFTP protocol. So there is a lot of improving every year on this way.
And I would say that the work data are really the gasoline of all our activities. Without receiving the work registration, we are not in a position to distribute the royalties back to the members. So it's really important that as soon as the work is created, the registration is made. As I said, we receive usage data from the digital platforms with a lot of information. And last year, we received around 70 billion lines of data from the digital platforms. So these are tremendous amounts of information that have to be processed. And of course, we have big challenges. As I said, first, handling the volumes, these huge volumes of data. But also the biggest challenge is to match usage information and work information. For this, we either use the metadata themselves or we use some new technologies, fingerprinting when there is an original soundtrack, or melody ID systems when there aren't, especially on platforms, on video platforms or UGC platforms like YouTube, because the works that are performed on YouTube are not necessarily the original soundtrack. And for obvious reasons, there is a need for transparency for our members and partners who need to have real access to the data and then follow up what we're doing on their behalf. So the solutions we have developed so far, and please don't be afraid by the next slide, we have implemented what we call a data lake. This slide is just meant to show you that we are aggregating and digesting as many data as we can. We, together with some other CMOs in the world, with PRS in the UK and ASCAP in the US, we are sharing our data so that we can better associate ISRC information, ISRC codes, so sound recording codes, with ISWC work codes. In terms of processing, in order to be able to process those large volumes, we have partnered with IBM 2-3 years ago, and we have together developed a platform that can help us cope with all the challenges that I've mentioned before. So basically what that platform does is that it ingests the data, prepare the calculation, match the information of the usage data with the copyright information, so the work registration, prepare the invoices, and once it's paid by the DSPs, we can distribute back, of course, to the members. This new system is cloud-based and helped us to improve the way we process the data in a very significant way. Via this system, we have also developed real-time access to the data, so a series of dashboards whereby you can search very precisely on a work-by-work basis or have access to more dashboard-like information. And of course, our members, they have a dedicated access to our portal where they can see their distribution, all the sources of revenues per territory, per type of use, per type of rights, because SACEM represents both performing rights and mechanical rights. Last year, we distributed money to 360,000 authors, composers, and publishers in the world, and we have registered more than 3 million works. And we didn't want to leave you without listening to a little bit of music. Would you like to introduce that slide, Philippe?
Yeah, that's great. With collective management society, we can administer our value, but I think the job of music publisher is to create value on each territory. And thanks to SACEM and Must, few months ago, we had the opportunity to meet songwriter from our teams to Taiwanese songwriters to make new music, and especially in Chinese. So it's a chance to enter this market, and we have good tracks we can now pitch to performing artists in the area. So I hope you will like the song you will heard.
风被打进一脸无助天真，吹一球两腿大剑，宝桥马鞭，导弹刷佛子剑，吹。情愿做一颗异类，只将真话得罪，有些理亏，不懂赞美，心不满足，想成为傀儡，埋伏在梦周围。没有任何机会 get away， 消失在眼里，来到了心里。多么讨厌的你，在每个深夜都让我的梦里进入雨季。闭上眼睛，这世界。
So I hope you enjoyed the experience as much as Philippe and his team enjoyed it. Thanks very much for your attention. It was not an easy way doing this without seeing you guys, but if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let us know, to contact us, and we'll be very happy to tell you more about SACEM. Thank you very much.